Yes, Ms. Pearson, I know you've been a major player in the US and global industry for some time. And of course, global business has been affected by COVID over the last 2 or 3 years. How do you think that's impacted specifically the US and global cannabis industry?
Well, in a couple of ways. First of all, cannabis was considered essential in all but 2 locations that I'm aware of. And that quote unquote essential designation was a real shot in the arm for the industry, because it was a real signal that cannabis has a place as medicine, and that there was going to be potentially an impact on the healthcare workers at the time. And so, one of the things, when you go back to the beginning of COVID, and none of us really knew what to expect, people were dying, bodies were piling up, and the government in their wisdom thought, we can't have another, we can't put more stress on our already stressed out healthcare workers. So what we're not going to do is send people who might be seeking pain medication or other medication that they use that cannabis for back into the medical system. So we got that essential designation. Well, what that basically did was allowed cannabis to continue operating, the cannabis operators, dispensaries, growers, etc. It kept all of those jobs in play. And then the other part of it, on the flip side, that maybe wasn't so great, and that we're starting to see the impact of that down the road, is that, there was a surge it was one of those places that you could go, that you could shop. And also people were stuck at home. So there was a lot more alcohol and cannabis use during those times. And so we saw a lot of companies really explode and do well. And then what happened is, once all of that died down, and now all of those, extra payments, the PPP loans, and the little bump that the government gave everybody, that money dried up. And then you start to see the fact that these companies that have expanded are now not selling as much as they were before. And so it's a little bit of a tightening that's happening, and some companies aren't making it. And so it turned out to be both a blessing and a curse. That was the first thing that I would say. The second is that, of course, COVID impacted the supply chain all the way through, from packaging to nutrients to just the simple things that you needed, like being able to get lights or tables or everything. And then there's that double whammy of the mass resignation that's happened. So it's very difficult for people to find workers. And then we have this thing that we're calling what are they calling it? The quiet quitting movement. I don't know if you've heard about that, where people are just coming to work, but doing the minimum. So there's a lot of impact that COVID's had. Some of that's not unique to cannabis, but those are the things that I specifically see happened in our industry.